The internet is broken. Business models and site design are entirely geared toward advertising and not the reader. On today's internet, advertisements are distracting, invasive, and overwhelming. In Den, the primary objective is quality content. Instead of ads, you may occasionally see a boosted post where a user has risked value to increase its visibility. Just like any other post, you can upvote or downvote to help evaluate the relevance to your community. The more engagement a boosted post gets, the less the booster pays. Depending on the evaluation process, a booster can get up to 85% of their money back, if the post is well targeted and engaging. In Den, quality content is the primary objective.
What's up, awesome humans? We have another DENDAO call. It is Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern or noon Pacific. We do governance calls every Thursday at this time. Got myself, Dave, and then Joe Dragon. Hello, thanks for joining us. Hello. And I am. Thanks for joining the call. If anybody would like to join the call, there is a link at the top of the agenda, the post in the DENDAO layer. There's a link at the top. You can click that. It'll pop you in here to this meeting with us. You can also just reply to that, and we'll check the bottom for replies before we end the community feedback portion of the meeting. Or you can chime in via YouTube chat if you want to do it that way. So the choice is yours. Today, so it is March 2nd. We have results and new layers. Yes. Layers are live. So we had 3 that won the regular LCP, and then we had 4 that won via fee that was paid. So if you don't know, the runners-up can be created with a fee depending on how highly they ranked. And then also some of them, are any of these the 2,500 matter fee, or were they all runners up? Yeah. Okay.
A lot of
cool.
Oh, really?
So anything with more than 8 unique voters can be created with a 2,500 matter fee. So the winners were Marketplace and Aliens and Posted. And then the ones that were created through runners up or other fee-based option was The Current Thing, Drone, Artificial Intelligence, and Astrophotography. So that's actually pretty cool, man. We can use drones to take pictures of space and capture aliens, and then sell those as NFTs in the marketplace. I don't know. I left artificial intelligence out of that one.
Artificial intelligence would control the drones.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, your AI-driven drone to take pictures of space with aliens in it. I love it. So what place was what? Let's look at the winners, and let's see who won in what place. If you go and click on the LCP button, should bring that up. Let's see here.
Yeah, it'd be good. I can't remember which ones were 2,500 and which ones.
Yeah, the placement.
Yeah, runners up.
Cool. So we have by unique voters Marketplace. There were 51 unique voters. So there's 51 owners. You all have lot tokens, layer ownership tokens for that layer. And some of the layers have been, people have been setting them up already. Joe, I know in Current Thing, you and I have been talking in there. I saw y'all weird over in the Aliens layer, throwing up some tags and stuff. And Jacob Wayne started the conversation in Marketplace as well. So Marketplace, check that out. I just threw some lot up for sale in Marketplace, so we can kick that off. I updated the ROI chart, or the ROT, return on token, whatever you want to call it. Laid that out, so if anybody wants to do some lot rot. I was like, it's a term. It's good. Let's coin that one, lot rot. So I threw up the updated lot rot table, and that's useful because you can do some math on it now based on real numbers and come up with some sort of valuation. And I did that. You can see an example of the way that I did it. You do it however you want. It's, we're all adults here and independent people. So you sell them for whatever you think you are willing to part with, and see if anybody takes you up on it. I sold some to Jacob Wayne already, some craft beer lot. So that's cool. So in the unique voters, number 1 was Marketplace. By lore, the winner by lore was number 8 and number 21. So Aliens was number 8, and 21 was Posted. So Posted is going to compete with Random, it looks like. So get your motor running, go off to the races. Aliens, I guess, is sort of a sister or companion layer to UFOs, because not all UFOs are necessarily aliens. And if you identify that alien craft, is it no longer a UFO? These are the important questions.
It would be an IFO, I think.
So I want a wrong layer tag there so I can tag something.
Yep.
Actually,
so that's live.
That should be a base level, by the way, tag instead of per.
I thought it was. I'll have to go back and check, but some of them I noticed it's not in there, because like there's some things. That's a good point, because it's not. Some things are not spam necessarily, or like at least not intentional, but it is the wrong layer kind of thing. So that's one I'll have to go check out. So the other ones, though, if we go back over to what are the other ones that won by unique voter. So artificial intelligence, that was a 200 matter fee to get created. That did get paid and created. Astronomy, astrophotography, that would have been a 400 matter fee. That was paid, so that's been created. And let's scroll down and see what else we got. So then you skip down to Aliens 1 for free. And then now we're digging deep. So we've got the current thing, which would have been a 2,500 matter fee to create. It had 16 unique voters, but it was not in the top 5 runners up. So that's why it's got the higher fee. The same with drones. And then I guess would the other one be astrophotography that was also that level of fee? Or did we already say that? No. Okay. What am I missing? I'm missing one.
Wow, it was pretty high.
Was there drones? Anyway, those are the ones. If I'm missing something, you can go yourself to the LCP section and see how far down it was.
Yes.
And per the DENDAO vote about auto subbing people to the LCP layers, everyone is subbed to these new LCP layers that did win. So that was done.
Okay. Has there been any kind of testing to verify that worked?
Yeah, I right now I have a script basically that's running to do it. Like every time I create, every time like, what am I trying to say? Every time the new layers get created for an LCP, right now manually that script is running by just a person running it, and so then we can verify, yep, it worked, that kind of thing. So then it can be rolled into automation later. But right now it's just once every LCP gets created, then you run that. Anybody who, everybody gets subscribed to it basically. And that does still respect, like if you unsubscribe from a layer in the past, you won't be resubscribed to it when that runs or anything like that. So that's working, which is cool. Let's see, what else with the LCP? Is there anything else? I think otherwise that's just kind of pretty routine. Oh, Ethereum side hasn't been created yet.
Right.
That's literally my fault. I just haven't gotten around to it. But that'll be done. I probably won't do that till tomorrow. But it's a pretty simple process. I'm just it's a multi-sig operation that we just have to plan out and do. But I think that's it for LCP for February. Did I miss anything on that category of updates?
No, nothing.
No.
Good to
Cool.
mind.
Let's see. I guess the only thing is if you voted for one of those, now go vote for tags or proposed tags and artwork and stuff like that. Oh, I have a notice there for the same thing. I just said it again. The Auth system. I am. I know you asked about this either last week or the week before about how close we are to the new auth login system. So it's working. It is. It has been tested, and it actually is running in parallel to the old system right now. We're not going to make like a post, an announcement quite yet. There's a couple of things that still need to be buttoned up on that system, but it is working and it is in place. So that's more or less done. There's going to be a period of time where both the old current login system works and the new one is an option. So people can start, you can think of yourself as beta testers if you want, but while they're both still in place, go start migrating over to the new one. And then if you find out for some reason that you can't access the email address that you used to use to log in, or you don't remember your login name because you like have it saved in your browser, you don't type it in every time, so you forgot, you'll still be able to log in the old way and then send a message like from your account, for example, to say what is my email address or what is my login handle, that kind of thing, so we know it's you. So that should help. I think like it's not going to be just a hard cut. Like, all right, now it's the new system. We'll have them both for a while. So that should be pretty clean. But we'll see how it goes. Should be pretty good. Let's see. Other than that, those are the things I had planned to put out. So that's
about that logout. I just thought of something. One of the issues, there was a change where I was having problems, being able to log out and only vote by one token or one energy. I did notice that one of my VPN providers, I wasn't actually automatically logged into that VPN provider. I don't know if that had anything to do with it. Probably I would think, changes that you did on the back end. But
did you happen to notice if it started working again like early this week, like Monday? Or was it before that?
I want to say Thursday of last week, I left it logged on and I was not using Tor. And just after a few hours, it cleared. Doesn't make sense. But I have not had any issues since Monday. And I don't know.
Okay, cool.
So definitely, it's really hard to pinpoint it.
Yeah. Well, it could have been then because there were some updates and changes done like Monday morning or something that would have been potentially something that maybe there was something that, as Greg said last time he was on, sometimes when you go in and you start improving things, you end up fixing bugs you didn't know were there until after somebody reports, hey, it's working better. So cool.
Yeah. So it's all good. It's all good.
Good. What else? I've got so leaderboard stuff is coming along pretty slow, but it's coming along. I'm working on more things than just that. And kind of like two of us are working on that, but also primarily like 2 or 3 other things. But I came up with a couple of things that I haven't published yet. I'm trying to be respectful of people's privacy, but also a leaderboard has to have leaders. I know there was some discussion on the last post that I made about like, how much information is too much versus what's useful. So what did I come up with? I had, I wanted to have a leaderboard for, I don't know what to call it, but basically most valuable evaluators. If that makes sense. And this would be
talked about during Coffee with Den about we need to really be able to manage, wrong choice of words, rank evaluators.
Yeah.
Let's just content providers. Such an important part of it.
Yeah, just for one, just because it's fun to be like, let's compete for that slot, but also to recognize like, hey, you guys are doing, objectively, the data says you guys are doing a good job. So I came up with I think a pretty good way of ranking. I ended up assigning a score that's based on some factors. One of them is like how balanced your evaluation is. Right now, I'm trying to keep it pretty forgiving. But if you stay within an 8-to-1 or a 1-to-8 ratio of upvotes to downvotes, then that's considered to be pretty good as far as evaluator reputation goes. And that can be tightened up quite a bit. But an 8-to-1 ratio, I think, is pretty loose. It doesn't it doesn't penalize anybody for unless you're just only voting in one direction, that kind of thing.
It goes against my DNA. I gotta. It's true.
Does it? Yeah.
tend to not vote if I don't like a post.
Mm-hmm.
And on the contrary,
I know this is an issue because I do the same thing. I do the same thing.
My DNA. I mean, everyone needs the feedback, but
yeah, I am not towards the top of that list. I'll be honest. I know exactly what the rules are and how it's quantified, and I still have a hard time. And that's what I think is the interesting thing, is because it's a shift in how other websites work. It's not based on how Reddit works, for example, or it's not based on how Twitter works or Facebook works. It actually expects and I kind of demands that you're going to have to downvote stuff, and hopefully the fact that everybody who wants to be in that role, who wants to perform that evaluator role, if everyone understands that they have to downvote some people, hopefully some of the stigma of downvoting being an emotional personal attack goes away and people can be more objective about it. But that means what it really does mean is that it turns up the pressure a little bit on content creators, because if you know that evaluators do have to find low-hanging fruit to downvote, you might have an on-topic post that is in the correct layer, but if it's maybe not relevant for some reason, or it's
it doesn't have any meat.
Doesn't have any meat to it. It's not as interesting as something else that's in the same layer that day. You just gonna have to understand, oh man, I must have not been in the top half of what people were looking at that day. That kind of thing.
Yep.
Question though. Let's say that I log in at 8 a.m. and that's what I'm downvoting because there's not a lot of meat in a particular post on an item. And later throughout the day, I realize everyone's posting that way, and maybe even less so.
Yeah.
And so now I've already downvoted heavily earlier in the day when that person was actually above average for the rest of the day.
Well, you do get every hour some more energy to vote some more. So even if you use it up, and the reputation is self-healing, meaning that, even if you just downvote everybody in across all layers one day, but just because you're in a bad mood, when your mood improves and your evaluation becomes more balanced, you heal reputation wise. So it's something that's not sticky.
Without coffee in the morning, and when I'm grouchy, I'm going to downvote, and later in the day I can upvote when I have a nice glass of wine.
Yeah, in fact, if I remember correctly, and we need to BitBuy and I need to finish something we started, which is writing up basically either a DENDAO or a Den post about kind of how that works, so people know what's expected. It's pretty loose. It looks at your balance being right now it's set to 8-to-1 or 1-to-8 up to downvote, and it also is looking over the past, I want to say month. I think I have to double check, but I think it's the past. It's either I don't know what I left it at. It's either the past month or the past 8 days, one or the other. But it takes into more than just right now into account. It takes your general behavior over the past. I forget now if it's a week or a month, but it's one of those things. And so it's, you have some cushion there. It's not highly reactive where it only takes, the most current data. It takes your sort of overall, okay, this person's been pretty balanced this month or this week or whatever it is. So yeah, there's wiggle room in there.
So let me marketing tagline. I post on Den to get honest evaluation on my postings. Understanding that I'm going to get ugly feedback from a time to time.
I
That
would say
is
it's
not based on politics or ideology, philosophy, whatever. It's
yeah.
based on content.
I, I it is subjective too because it's in relation to other posts. You know what I mean? It's how do you stack up against other posts from that day? Basically, is what it is. Because that's your competition, and that's the reason. That's the reason that I think it's important to have this to like. Basically, what we're doing is we're saying, okay, evaluators as effectively this would be an employee of a centralized company, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're saying here's your role and your job description, and here's how you do well in your job. Here's where if you're balanced and you're this and you're that and you're not like emotionally like following one around to every layer to downvote them. You know, some things we've been able to see and capture as a behavior pattern, which is pretty interesting. Then you're doing your job well and you get rewarded for it. And so to say that, okay, you've got to think about more things. You got to think a little bit more about your evaluation. You're going to have to downvote people even if you don't want to. So you better find people that are like, you know, not that they're bad, but maybe the least good and downvote them. You got to do that for it to be a competitive marketplace, or we're never going to push better and better and better content that's fresher and fresher and that kind of thing. So,
what percentage again goes towards evaluation of the daily rewards?
let me see. It's in the white paper, but I hadn't looked at that specifically in a while. Let me see. I'll just look at it. So if you don't know, I'm going to settings right now, and I'm going to go to the white paper, and I'm going to scroll down. So it is going to be uptrend, downtrend. So up and downtrend evaluator rewards. We have, unless it's changed since the initial white paper, it's 5% for the uptrend pool, 2.5% for the downtrend. So 5 and 2.5 as a percentage base. Yep. And then the layers get 10%. And the content gets 80%. And if you have a bunch of people replying to your post, you get 10% of all the energy that goes to the replies as the content poster. So if you can drum up a conversation, it's more valuable, basically.
Gotcha. So 2.5% is dedicated towards evaluators' rewards.
Mm-hmm. I think it used to be 5%, but it got split off with the engagement reward, which the engagement reward, I think, is the same thing as the referral, like clickbacks when you share something.
Right. Which honestly, that's what we have talked about in previous DENDAO meetings. That number is how we're going to hopefully also if we can use that and encourage that engagement rewards, how we're going to grow subscribers.
Yeah, that is effectively
that's
the ambassador reward or the advertising reward or whatever that kind of thing is. Yeah, spread
ambassador
the word.
Reward's a great term.
Mm-hmm. And that's another. Actually, I hadn't planned on talking about this, but that's a good point. So the different roles. Excuse me. Content creator, evaluator, if you want to call it ambassador or advertiser, sharer. Mm-hmm. These are all different roles of a denizen. If you might remember that roles of a denizen ad. I thought a really interesting leaderboard page could be literally those roles and then ranking denizens per role. Like who's our most valuable evaluators, who's our most valuable creators, who's our most valuable advertisers outside of Den, like sharing links and stuff like that. So that's what I'm working on right now. And I've got the evaluator one, I think, done. And I've got the referral one pretty close to done anyway.
Okay.
Let's see what else. Yeah, that's it. That's it for that, I think, right now.
All right. Thanks for going there.
Yeah,
Appreciate
yeah,
that
of course.
deeper dive.
Juicy J, Hyperion Frequency, what's up? Thanks for joining. If either of you have any questions, now is the time. I'll give you 15 seconds to ask them. I used to have this. We used to have a 30-30 guarantee when I was a tech rep in the Navy. It's 30 minutes or 30 steps, whichever came first.
Oh, that was a caliber. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, no, it's
As
cool.
a manager, I always practice censorship. When hands were raised, I would selectively ask who are. Much like a press secretary or president during a news conference.
Yeah, who do I want? Who have I had? Who gives me softball questions? Let me pick you.
No, I'm just kidding. No,
All right.
I think that's good.
Well, in that case, hey, we had a pretty good episode today talking about your white paper on World Blockchain Roundtable.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed
that
it very
was
much.
That was great. So do submit questions to the next one. It's going to be about game shows. So what are your blockchain game show ideas? And that's over in the World Blockchain Roundtable layer. That's on Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. We also on Wednesdays there's a Coffee with Den, kind of a casual coffee meetup that's over in that layer. Coffee with Den. That's at 9 a.m. Eastern. And that also has a link to join. If anybody wants to swing by and join it live, you're able to do that. Thanks to everybody actually that chimed in this week. I was after I Am had to go take his kid to school. It was just me there talking about Nintendo 64, and I ended up there was a lot of cool questions and stuff in the comments. So I kind of like that. That's a good one to just wake up and get your mind booted up, that kind of show. Tuesdays, Joe has Super Happy Dragon Lucky, where he will give updates to Dragon Chain and to Den.Social. There's also an AMA section in there where the top 3 questions to that post will get answered by Joe. And
that's
all
valuable.
Of those,
if you really want to dig deeper into Den or how it works and the potentialities, ask there. I mean, where else do you get that opportunity?
Yeah, every week. Yep. And if there's too many questions, then the audience decides which ones are more, either more important or more interesting, or that kind of thing. All of those have participation rewards. Now, I admittedly have not given out a lot for Coffee with Den in a little while. I need to go through and update my spreadsheet and distribute those. But that's easy enough for me to do, and I have all the data, so you are being counted. But yeah, with Coffee with Den, with World Blockchain, with Super Happy, you get I think all 3 of those have lot rewards, right, Joe? Even Super Happy has lot rewards now.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So all of those you get ownership of the World Blockchain layer, the Dragon Chain layer, and the Coffee with Den layer. And Coffee with Den was I remember it was up in the top handful of most valuable lot, because there's not that many of them to go around. So I was pretty happy to hear that, because I wasn't sure okay, from week to week it's all right, what's this show worth, that kind of thing. But because it's a limited supply of lot and there is consistent content and engagement, it actually ended up proving that was
awesome.
At least in relation to other layers and stuff, it's holding its own value wise, and it's up on the leaderboard.
Yeah, Joe, I think you mentioned, or was it you, Dave, that mentioned that, how many billions tokens a lot on Den, and
they're
220 million, I think.
220 million.
It's,
okay,
it's like a quarter billion. Yeah,
a quarter billion. Okay, there you go. I mean, is there some kind of press release that can be done on something like that? Because that's got to be some kind of record.
Could be. Yeah, I know it has to be.
Press release would be good for Den.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if interesting. I bet you we could have the most tokens in the same project on
that are diversified.
From the same contract kind of thing. Yeah, they're diversified.
It's not like 250 million 8 pictures.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're all, and they all have, now the apes are, they came back in later, and they're after the fact bringing utility into the apes. But it's different. Like, not to mention that it's 1155s, which you don't see that many projects using the
True.
1155 option.
Mhm.
And that I think it's unique and interesting, because it's kind of like, it's the best of both worlds, the way that I think about it, because you have the ERC 20s, which is a fungible, and you have the ERC 721, the 721A now, which is your classic NFT. The 1155s are kind of like a fungible, non-fungible. Like, it's a little bit of both, where if you think about lot within the particular layer, like Elon Musk has like however many million lot. Those are fungible within themselves. One Elon lot is one Elon lot, but then one Elon lot is not one alien lot, even though you might think so. So yeah, it's an interesting, I think it's probably the best one because it's so flexible.
It's something where it's a horn to be tooted. I don't
Yeah,
know.
who's doing interesting stuff with interesting things, and definitely that's one of them. Yeah, I don't know how to write up that press release, but it seems like, there could be something there to put out. Maybe we get with Ross, who pops into World Blockchain sometimes, and see if he wants to write about unique, maybe under lesser known or less popular, but obviously interesting things like that. I haven't seen the marketing layer used in a lot. We could maybe start a conversation in that. Well, those are my reminders. And it looks like, can we refresh and read the reply section just to make sure nobody replied while we were bantering over here? Because otherwise, I think that'll be it for updates for the meeting today. Yep, and that's it. So cool. There's what we do every week. This is the last thing that we do as far as live broadcast each week, which means I'll be around like tomorrow and stuff, but I won't be talking on a camera. So have a good weekend. See you next week. All of that stuff. And that's it. I've been Dave. This has been DENDAO Governance Call. Bye, y'all.
See you guys.
Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best.
Adaptable, all capital, label radical yet rational. Adaptable approach is palpable if this animal is fallible. But that conclusion is laughable, so with for all detachable from the mandible. You see it now?